Today we'll be reading from Canto 8, Chapter 10, the battle between the demigods and the demons. Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Shiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamuridaye Nasta Prashu Abhareshu Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamaslope Bhakti Bhavati Naistihiki. Text 1. Sukadeva Goswami said, O king, the demons and deities all engaged with full attention and effort in churning the ocean, but because they were not devotees of Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, they were not able to drink the nectar. Text 2. O king, after the Supreme Personality of Godhead had brought to completion the affairs of churning the ocean and feeding the nectar to the demigods, who are his dear devotees, he left the presence of them all and was carried by Garuda to his own abode. Text 3. Seeing the victory of the demigods, the demons became intolerant of their superior opulence. Thus, they began to march towards the demigod with raised weapons. Text 4. Thereafter, being enlivened because of drinking the nectar, the demigods, who are always at the shelter of the lotus feet of Narayana, use their various weapons to counterattack the demons in a fighting spirit. Text 5. O king, a fierce battle on the beach of the ocean of milk ensued between the demigods and the demons. The fighting was so terrible that simply hearing about it would make the hair on one's body stand on end. Text 6. Both parties in that fight were extremely angry at heart, and in enmity they beat one another with swords, arrows, and varieties of other weapons. Text 7. The sounds of the conch shells, bugles, drums, biris, and damaris, catadrums, as well as the sounds made by the elephants, horses, and soldiers, who were both on chariots and on foot, were tumultuous. Text 8. On that battlefield, the charioteers fought with the opposing charioteers, the infantry soldiers with the opposing infantry, the soldiers on horseback with the opposing soldiers on horseback, and the soldiers on the backs of elephants with the enemy soldiers on elephants. In this way, the fighting took place between equals. Text 9. Some soldiers fought on the backs of camels, some on the backs of elephants, and some on asses, some on white-faced and red-faced monkeys, some on tigers, and some on lions, and in this way they all engaged in fighting. Text 10 through 12. O king, some soldiers fought on the backs of vultures, eagles, ducks, hawks, and bassa birds. Some fought on the backs of timingalas, which can devour huge whales. Some on the backs on sarabas, and some on buffalo, rhinoceroses, cows, bulls, jungle cows, and arunas. Others fought on the backs of jackals, rats, lizards, rabbits, human beings, goats, black deer, swans, and boars. In this way, mounted on animals of the water, land, and sky, including animals with deformed bodies, both armies faced each other and went forward. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, and thank you, Vidya Mataji, for reading the translation today. Thank you, Radharani Mataji. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yogam Sikshashtamekam Purusha Puranam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sariradari Krupam Vadittamaham Prapadye Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langete girim yatkrupa tamaham vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today we are seeing this new section. So in the last section we have seen how the Lord has accepted one more form, Mohini Murti. So Mohini, Moha means illusion. So Mohini is the personified illusion, the form that Lord took. No one can surpass the charm, the beauty and the charm that the Mohini Murti's form. So even Lord Shiva got attracted. And then at the end, Lord Shiva also says, Lord, no wonder I don't feel ashamed. Your magical power surpasses everything. So naturally, I got attracted. This is not at all a surprise. So, in the last chapter, we have seen how the nectar was distributed only among the demigods. And one demon who just dressed like a demigod, Rahu, he also got the nectar. And eventually his head got cut off, and the part of the head become the Rahu planet, which is which actually comes in between the sun and moon. So here there are many lessons. Excuse me. There are many lessons we can learn in this chapter. Especially Sukadeva Goswami himself is saying at the end, is glorifying the lad's pastimes, how beneficial for everyone if they actually hear the Lord's pastimes. And according to the time, place, and circumstances, everyone is working hard, but then here only the demigods, they achieve one result and demons achieved another result. So that's all because the demigod took the shelter of the Supreme Lord. So Sukadeva Goswami naturally asking us to take the shelter of the Supreme Lord's lotus feet, so that our results, our hard work, and our endeavor in the material world does not go waste. So naturally, there are five kinds of realizations that Srimad Bhagavatam says. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanamaya, Vijnanamaya, and Anandamaya. So it starts with the Annamaya platform and then goes all the way to the Anandamaya platform, the blissful nature of the soul. So with this, the soul having this material body obviously have different dependencies. So it needs to have food for sustenance. It needs to have life, air, the prana, the life is for sustenance, and it needs to have the jnana, the knowledge. There is a seeking for knowledge, and there is also seeking for realized knowledge, and ultimately there is a seeking for bliss, the happiness that everybody is looking after. So in the spiritual platform, the demons, they are also seeking this nectar, so they wanted to protect their bodily functions, and being immortal, they wanted to control, they wanted to destroy. So their motivation of becoming immortal is different, and the demigod's motivation of becoming immortal is different. So even though they are seeking the same thing, one is seeking under the shelter of the Lord, and another is seeking as a opposite, staying on the opposite side of the Lord, which is um, very dangerous. And the demons are proving how it is, because they did all the hard work of churning this ocean just like demigods, and they also took all the hardships. They are also, in fact, they were staying on the other side of um, Vasuki, on the mouth side. So they were taking all the heat from the mouth, all the fire that's coming out from the mouth, all their faces were burnt. They are actually, in fact, doing much more suffering than the demigods. But ultimately, they didn't get any results. So, so here it is being said that just like Sukadeva Goswami is giving this example, that we all want the results. But then we have to understand where to actually put our endeavors, where to put our endeavors so that the results actually come to us. The right way to water the plant, water the tree, is to root, water the root of the plant or root of the tree. That way, all the leaves, creepers, flowers, fruits, everything gets, healthy and happy. So, similarly, uh, all our endeavors, we have to keep the Lord in the center so that our endeavors also have results. I mean, what is the real result? Like I was saying, the real result is to become happy and blissful. The Anandamaya platform that the Jiva wants to be naturally joyful. So that state is achieved by pouring your love and affection towards the Supreme Lord. So either through in the form of karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga. Everything culminates into bhakti yoga because bhakti yoga is directly engages everything in the service of the Lord, as opposed to the other aspects of yoga where you're trying to offer your results of karma, trying to offer your the jnana or uh, um, only the aspect of engaging your knowledge, engaging understanding about the Lord, the inquisitiveness. So all these elements are present in Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, Bhakti Yoga is naturally gives the highest benefit of pouring your love and affection towards the Supreme Lord. So now in this 10th chapter, obviously the demons who did not receive the nectar, they were so angry. And right at the ocean of milk, the shore front, the sand, the beach, the ocean of milk, they were extremely angry, and then the fight started manifest right there. So in this chapter, Sukadeva Goswami is going to explain in very graphically how this fight between demons and demigods, daityas and uh, suras and asuras is manifesting in this ocean of milk beachfront. So we'll see it's very poetically and graphically explained that we can see this is like a um, very very um, thrilling kind of experience for someone who likes to witness the fights like a war is very thrilling. Even many movies can be taken from this chapter. There are already many movies have been taken. So the Sukadeva Goswami is continuing in this chapter. So Sri Sukha Vacha. So once the Daityas and demons, they were engaged in full attention. Now Sukadeva Goswami again bringing that fact that they were not devotees of Vasudeva. Vasudeva Paran Mukaha. So Paran Mukaha means just like Bahir Mukaha, like turning your face away from the Lord. So Paran Mukaha is similar word that turning your face away from the Lord. I mean, basically indicating non-devotees of Lord Vasudeva. So they are not able to drink the nectar. Now Vindan Amrutam Rupa. So they could not get the Amruta. So because of only this factor being Paran Mukaha. So in this world also, like there is a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Um, why is everyone suffering? And then the answer is given that one has turned away from the Lord, Bahirmukha. So the jiva is suffering because of three modes of material nature, uh, because he has turned away from the Lord. So, and then Sukadeva Goswami says that they all after everything happened, the Lord distributed the nectar to the demigods. So now he left that place to his abode. So, and Lord actually Garuda Vahana. So he left on the Garuda to his own abode. So after that, from verse number 3, we can see now the demigod, the Asuras and Daityas were very, very intolerant. They were like extremely angry. And obviously, the result they were obtaining, trying to obtain with all the hard work, were is only a disappointment. So they actually the sweet words of Mohini Murthy, they were so much charmed that they just gave the whole part and they went back and they obeyed, they did fast, and then they did all the rituals, took bath and dressed up nicely, came back and sat, according to the way that Mohini Murthy was dictating them. So imagine after all the hard work and there is so much disappointment. So the demons already they were full of tamo and rajas. So in the tamo and rajoguna, the defeat becomes very, very difficult to even digest. So only way they will be able to satisfy them is taking a revenge, fighting. So that is what they were all right now. Pratyudhyataha ayudaha. So they were all raising their weapons. They were ready to fight with the demigods. So at this time, they were not even thinking the fact that the demigods already received the nectar. Obviously, we can't fight with them. All that kind of intelligent thinking is not coming to their mind. So right now, they just want to take revenge and they want to fight. So, Tata Suragana Sarva. So after that, thereafter, what happened? So Guru Goswami is elaborating that. Uh, so those demigods who all, because of drinking the nectar, so Sukadeva Goswami is obviously saying they are very much enlivened, meaning earlier also demigods were there, and they had this enmity with asuras, daityas, but they were not able to fight because all their energy levels was very less, and they were completely defeated because of offenses that Indra did and all that. Because of those offenses and all that, and because the Daityas had so much respect and shelter on their guru, and they actually the asuras gain more power. So now, because of the nectar, all the demigods were completely enlivened. So they were completely, very much enlivened, meaning the spirit, both physical and mental spirit, were so high that, and also they took the shelter of Lord Narayana. So now they are all trying to counteract the demons in a fighting spirit. So Tatra Daivashura Nama. So now on the battlefield, so the battlefield is being said as on the ocean of milk beach. So that was the whole battlefield, just like Kurukshetra battlefield. Now this beachfront, the full fighting is going on between these demigods and asuras, and it was Sukadeva Goswami saying, "Tumula Roma Harshanaha," means just by witnessing this fight, one's hair can stand on end. So that was the very tumultuous, and this fighting scene was very, very interesting. So, we know that there are 12 rasas. So one of the rasas is this fighting spirit is one of the rasas, just like five primary rasas: Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, like that friendship, Dashya, Santa, Dashya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, these five primary rasas. And there are also seven secondary rasas. Hashya, like Hasyas, like the jokes that we may crack and people just enjoy the jokes. And Bhayanaka, like this very, very fearsing fights that happens, Bhayankara. So that is also one of the secondary rasas. So in this fight, that the spirit of that war and the spirit, that kind of a secondary rasa, so we can see that Sukadeva Goswami is saying Roma Harshanaha means the hairs are standing on the end. So such was the exciting that watching this fight. So, and both these parties, he was saying both Daityas and Asuras, Devatas, they were all extremely angry and they were trying to attack with many, many weapons, including swords. Um, so now Prabhupada elaborates here that there is always going to be these two kinds of people in this universe. There are going to be, good people and bad people. There's always going to be fight going on. This is perpetually happening. Unless some intelligent heads like Bali Maharaj is an head of the Asuras, unless these intelligent people they take the side of Krishna consciousness, so that way this enmity will subside. I mean, it will not completely diminish, but it will subside. Again, and the time comes, again this enmity will come again. So this is perpetually happening in this material world. So now, just like the war, this is like a war that's happening now. Just like a war, all the rules are being followed. Like the battle is not just chaotic. It was like the horse fighters are fighting with horse fighters, and the elephant riders are fighting with elephant riders, and those on the food, they are fighting with the equal soldiers. So the fighting is happening between the equals. And just like a war, the war is getting started. There is many sounds, kettle drums, sanka turya mridangana beri dhamaruna mahan. So all of these different elements of musical instruments making a tumultuous sound. Hasti Ashwa Rathapatinam. So the elephant, horses, and all the chariot fighters, they were all fighting among the equals. So now on the verse number 8, so we can see that how Sukadeva Goswami is saying that Sama Sanjanta Samyuge. So the fighting is happening between Sama Sajanta, like only on the equal level the fighting is happening. So we can see even the Daityas, they were, not like the Asuras on the Kali Yuga. They were very, very disciplined, matured, and they also follow rules and regulations. And they are all, according to the level, they were fighting with one another. And there were different types of soldiers, just like in the Mahabharata war in the Kurukshetra. Similarly, there are different types of, but this is much more on the elevated level. The fighting was very, very different. So, because the Asuras and Daityas, they have magical powers, and the Devatas also have magical powers. So, this fighting is on a very different level. So, now Sukadeva Goswami is elaborating that how these fighters they were on a different vahana. So Ustrai Kechita Ibai Kechit Apare. Like Ustrai means camels. Some people are on the back of camels, some people on the elephants, and some people are fighting on the asses, red faced monkeys, white faced monkeys, and some are even on tigers and lions. So you can imagine all the wild animals they are using as vahana, and they were fighting. So it's very, very interesting to see even the picture of how these different types of animals being used as vahanas. And also all kinds of vahanas, not only the animals on the land, animals on the air, animals on the water, all kinds of vahanas are being used. So they were even using vultures, eagles, hawks, basha, birds, and naturally on the water, the Timingalas, the great Timingalas, whales, they were huge, and they were the king of master of the oceans, and they were also used as vahanas here. So I think some of the Hollywood movies have depicted this kind of scenes. Obviously, they took all the clues from Srimad Bhagavatam. So, and not only that, like here it is mentioned that many different types of rhinoceros, bulls, buffaloes, black deers, goats, swans, boars, rabbits, the different varieties of animals are being used as vahanas. And imagine a fighting scene with like this, how interesting is that to watch. So that's why Sukadeva Goswami is saying, like, Roma Harshana, like his hairs were standing on would end if one would actually watch this kind of a fight. So, in this chapter, we can see how Parikshit Maharaj is also a king, is also a warrior. So now Sukadeva Goswami is elaborating, is very interestingly, poetically, all this scenes of war. Not just because he's a king, because there is an element of Lord coming. Lord's pastimes are happening. The demigods are devotees of the Lord. So because of that reason, the whole scene is being elaborated. So naturally, so in this war also, there is a situation where that the Lord comes again, the Lord who actually went back to his abode on the back of Garuda. So Ajita, the Lord Vishnu, again comes and again helps the demigods and to become victorious. So there are multiple pastimes within pastimes are happening here, and the Lord, how the Lord is helping the devatas and how the devatas are counteracting the asuras. So we can learn many lessons that. So when we take shelter of the Lord, all the obstacles in the material world, they can we should be able to counteract. So naturally, the best way that we can take shelter of the Lord in the Kali Yuga is by taking shelter of the holy name of the Lord. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama eva kevalam, Kalu nasti eva nastyeva gatiranyataha. So in the Kali Yuga also there are many, many dangers that we have to counteract. And to counteract those dangers, we have to, just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, we take shelter of the Supreme Lord by His holy name. We can be protected. The asuras sometimes they come in different forms. So in the Kali Yuga, they come in the form of greed, anger, envy, jealousy. All that is not external. This is internal. So to counteract all that, we have to purify our hearts. So we have to purify our hearts and purify our mind. So that way we can take real shelter of Lord Narayana, Lord Krishna. So once we take shelter of the Lord, naturally, these asuric tendencies that are trying to overcome us, we can easily overcome, and we should be able to win this war of Deva Asura. This Deva Asura war is not just going on externally, it's going on internally within our hearts also. So it used to be said that in the Satya Yuga, the Asuras and Devas, they used to stay on the different planets, and then the Treta Yuga, same planet, different countries, and then now the Dwapar Yuga, same country, different areas. Now in the Kali Yugas, same person have Asuric and Deva tendencies. So like that. So we can see in the Kali Yuga, most of the people have Asuric tendencies. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to give the holy name and kill the Asuric tendency within our hearts, so that the real nature of the tendency of mode of goodness actually evoked from the hearts. So Hare Krishna, that concludes today's verse. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Vancha kalpatrupyasya kripa sindhu vachaha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
devotees.
Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have a small question. Prabhuji, is it
Yes,
okay if I
Mataji.
ask, Prabhuji?
Yes,
Prabhuji,
Mataji.
during those times, the people used to be very tall, right? So
Yes.
how would they fit on like, because the vehicles are like animals, like goats and monkeys, they are small. So how would they fit on that? That's what I was just asking, curious.
Yes, Mataji. I mean, our understanding of these animals is also different on the. This is happening on the ocean of milk. So obviously, these animals are on the different level. Just like if you, I don't know if you've seen this in the Avatar. Also, they show the bird carriers, the big, huge birds. So those birds we don't see in this material world. Obviously, these animals also very powerful and strong. They are not like rabbits. Our idea of rabbits are very small, but these rabbits could be huge, and they may appear and look similar, but their strength, bodily strength, and their carrying powers might be very huge. That is one possibility, or they might have magical powers. They can actually have the siddhis of anima and lagima. They can become, according to the master, they can also increase in size to carry the master. That could be one explanation.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Hare
thank
Krishna.
you, Madam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.